Hello, welcome to the Colourful Creativity podcast. My name is Carolien and this is episode 95. You can find me everywhere as Carolien, links down below. Also to the shop, colourfulcreativity.nl, and to the Ravelry group, Colourful Creativity group in the group section on Ravelry. But again, links are all down below. I also have a Ko-Fi account. If you like this podcast and you want to support it, please go over there and donate. I am trying to save up for a new microphone, so we might have a little bit better sound. To be all transparent, I received, since last time I told you, another Ko-Fi from a lovely friend and viewer. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it, and it helps me make this podcast better. So, January. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2020. And I know I have said it before in the 12 cast-ons, but for those who didn't enjoy the vlogging and stuff and only watched the regular podcast, so also for you, happy 2020. And also, of course, I'm very grateful that you all are watching. We're almost at 700 subscribers, which is crazy for me. I never expected anyone would want to watch this. So very grateful at the start of the new year. And so thank you very much, everyone. Returning viewers, for coming back and commenting, giving thumbs up. Very much appreciated. And new viewers, of course, welcome. I hope you like it here, and maybe subscribe down below, come back again, comment, go to the Ravelry group, enjoy some chatter there, and yeah, thank you. Basically, that's what I wanted to say. New year, new place. I was looking for the place with the best light. My nice chair is going away tomorrow for a few weeks because it needs some repairs. Yeah, not too happy about that, but I'm happy the repair's gonna be done finally. I already asked them to do it from the beginning of October, and it's now finally January and they're finally fixing it. So yeah, but this is a knitting and spinning and crafting podcast. And today is a knitting episode, so let's just start with the knitting. Those of you who have followed Vlogmas and the 12 cast-ons might have seen quite a bit already. But those who haven't and are just here for the knitting and spinning content, well, grab a cup of something you like or a glass of something you like and relax. This is gonna be a long one. I have so much to show you knitting wise that it's ridiculous. I think it's been only about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks since I recorded the last one, but I managed quite some knitting in that time. It was awesome to do, to join in on the cast-ons, but it also gave me lots and lots of stress, like I shared in the last one. I didn't make it to day 12, I only made it to day 8, sneakily to day 9. But yeah, it was nice to do some cast-ons that I wanted to do and that I was putting off. I have been putting off multiple cast-ons still, mostly bigger projects, but yeah, we'll get to that later, what I cast on. First, I'm going to show you what I finished. Ta-da-da-da! Yes, I need to weave in the ends. I have finished my rainbow gloves. And actually, that second one didn't even took that long. I think it was 5 days. 1 day for the ribbing, 1 day for the hand, and a day per 2 fingers-ish. I think that last one I even did 2 fingers and a thumb because I was like, I want it finished. So here they are, my rainbow gloves. I absolutely love them. I really have to get going on weaving in those ends. I'll probably try that after recording. They are super warm, they are nice and comfy. and I love them. The yarn I used is West Yorkshire Spinners Rum Paradise. I'm in love with that yarn. I think I used about half a ball, maybe a little bit over, maybe 60 grams. I'm not sure. I think it was about 60 grams. Needle size was 2.5 millimeters. I managed to do a lot on the second one in Magic Loop, which was way better than doing all the DPN wrestling. The pattern I used is from Pearl Soho, but I adjusted it because my fingers are a bit fatter than the person who designed it. So I needed some extra stitches. That's why my fingers look like they overlap a bit. That's the extra stitches I picked up in between the fingers. I did not embroider the things on afterwards or duplicate stitch. It is the Gem Gloves pattern. It's a free pattern on the Pearl Soho website, but you get to embroider a ring on your finger on that glove, and I was like, yeah, not gonna do that. So basically just find yourself a free glove pattern and go with that. That's what I did. Love them. Not sure if I would ever make fingered gloves again. I can say that now, but I'm pretty sure I will, because I have found an amazing pattern for fingerless gloves, but they are knit all the way up to here and then not tip, so a little bit less, but still enough of knitting on DPNs and fingers and small circumference, but that's fine. They look pretty enough to do that. Another finished object. Ta-da-da-da! Here is Cardigan, the Gentle Dragon. It has wings even. Yeah. This project I cast on in Sock Madness 2018 because everyone was casting one on. And by the time Sock Madness ended, I probably had about a body and a head. Maybe one leg. Yeah, and there is where I left it, because those legs are just like fingers on gloves. Fiddly fucking things. I am not a fan of DPNs. You might have noticed by now. So I did do them on DPNs, and I also did this arm on DPNs, and then I was like, let me try this on Magic Loop. And that's this arm, which is a bit shorter because my gauge is way tighter on Magic Loop. I think these were also on 2.5 millimeter needles, and I use a sock yarn. You can see there's a lot of stuffing showing in the face. Here even better. I just can't knit that tight on DPNs. So I knit the wings and one arm on Magic Loop, and it was like a whole new thing. It was like, wow, mind blowing. I should just knit these things also on Magic Loop. I should just not bother with DPNs. Cardigan is finished, however, now, so I'm happy. Another whip off the needles for 2020. I have been trying to not get that many whips. Also with the cast-ons of Christmas, I tried to keep my whip count lower. I picked some one-day projects, I picked some spinning projects, so yes, they are still whips, those spinning projects, but still it doesn't feel like adding to my huge whip pile. I have a big whip pile, I can tell you. I think I have about 20 projects on the needles, from which probably even 8 single socks. Yeah, I have some catch up to do this year, and I also have limited myself in the cast-ons for not too many sweaters. I have 4 sweaters in quantities, yarn ready to go, I think. I'm looking at my cart because I'm like, yeah, that was a sweater, that's a sweater, and there's another sweater I want to knit. But I also have a few on the needles still. Those are mostly cardigans. I think I don't have an actual sweater on the needles, but yeah. I have plenty that I want to start, but the finishing is my issue and I have to focus on the finishing, and that's what I'm trying to do now. But this is one of my new cast-ons and I finished it in one day, as you may have seen in the cast-on videos. This is a mountain mist hat from Tin Can Knits. And let me grab the yarn. I used some Aran Weight Rico Essentials. Was it soft merino Aran? In 3 colors. It's this one, this blue one, and this green one. And then I also have this one, which is here, a Quince & Co. Lark in the Cypress colorway. And this is more like a worsted, but it went together fine. I knit the hat on a 5.5mm needle, and I did the ribbing on a 4mm. I think it's in my project page. I didn't go with the 5mm needle because it's in use and I only have one, and I didn't want to steal the tips. Plus, I am a tight knitter, so my gauge for color work is usually really tight. So if you do a 5mm needle, your gauge will be even, my gauge would have been tighter, and I think it's nice that it's nice and loose. It's still warm enough, and the size is perfect for my husband, because that is who got this hat. And I'm actually going to knit another one, hopefully just as quick, for my father-in-law, who has his 75th birthday at the beginning of February. I think I'm gonna change up the colors for him. I probably will start with this blue, and then I have to see how I'm gonna switch it up. I might start with the blue, go with the green, and end with the blue. So this will be blue, the heavy blue. Then it will be light green, dark green, light blue, something like that. We will see. I think he might like that. I talked to my mother-in-law and she was like, oh yeah, sure. Don't use green. And then halfway she thought, why am I saying that? I can't wear green. That doesn't mean my husband can't. And he has green stuff, so he'll be fine. So those are my finished objects. And then we have whips. And for whips at the moment I have a cast on from 12 cast ons, or at least the 9 cast ons. This is my Knit Run Jig Christmassy bag, which I'm still using because I love it. And in here is something so not me. This is a super bulky or super chunky yarn, 100 meters in 100 grams. And this stuff is springy and whatever, not my thing. Look how it's curly whirly in the ball already. I wound it twice to see if that would help, but it didn't. Here is the progress. This is one repeat of a headband. And I hope it's not too wide, but we'll see, because the pattern's actually for a bulky yarn. And it is the Celtic Headband by Juliana Listenader. And it's designed for a 5mm needle. And this is a super bulky, and I'm knitting it on a, what was it, 7mm needle. It is tough on the hands because it's so thick, but yeah, I really like the pattern. This is my own hand-dyed yarn, and I am planning on doing a lot more dyeing on this and then make it a unique batch thing and just put it online and sell it all, I hope. I am not a huge fan of bulky yarns, but maybe you are, and I shouldn't leave it out because of that, of my dislike of things. I am very focused on fingering weight yarns, I know that, and I'm trying to make a little bit more of other weights. That's the goal for this year. So let's start with the super bulky. I hope actually to finish this one really quick. I think this should be the one I'd be working on after the podcast. Next project is cast on number 9, which is my sneaky cast on after I frogged cast on number 8. Cast on number 8 for the video was Party Bunting Socks by Zoe Garter, and Zoe is Pins and Needles UK everywhere, or Pins and Needles on YouTube. And yeah, I love that pattern, but I was just an idiot. I thought I could wing it with a 2.5mm needle and my yarn, and the welt in it was not stretchy enough to get over my heel. So I don't know what I was thinking, that I could just leave it like that and then change the needle size just for the bunting. No. I also cast on my regular 64 stitches, and with color work and such, I really need to go up to 72. 64 is just not enough. So what I did cast on in my Plistra project bag that came with my backpack is this. And I will show it to you on my hand because I'm almost finished with the first one already. This has been such a joy to knit. This mitten is going to be for my husband. The inside looks like this, and this is the outside. A coffee cup. And I am using the, where is the info? There it is. Coffee Socks pattern by Carolien, which is not really a pattern, but more just a chart. It is free on Ravelry. So I'm just going to show you. Officially it goes like this. And this is the other side. And it is a really nice sock. Different chart for the leg. This is the leg chart. And this is the foot chart. And this is the foot sole chart. And I have been thinking about it for a long time to turn that into mittens. My husband loves coffee. I'm a tea drinker, so I don't need these, but my husband loves coffee, so he really needs them. And it was finally the time to cast them on. I am also using this pattern, the How Cold Is It mittens by Drunk Girl Designs. This is more the guideline for the amount of stitches and the amount of rows, which are basically already off. I have put all the notes on the project page, so don't worry about that. You can look it up. I have done a 2x2 rib of 64 stitches, and then the chart that I'm using is 76 stitches. The original chart for the How Cold Is It mittens is 72, so I already had 4 stitches too many. That was okay because my husband's hand is wider. I went with it, the 76. And then I also added 1 repeat. Then I started the decrease. 1 repeat of coffee beans, I mean. That was too short, so I had to frog back and take out the whole pointy bit again. So I added another extra row of coffee beans, and then I started to decrease again, and I stopped. Instead of making that really pointy, I just stopped at 10 stitches on each needle left, and I did Kitchener them. I also have a few extra stitches on the thumb because my husband wants to move his thumb a bit more, and in my how cold it is it mitten, he can't bike because he feels like he has to do this instead of using his thumb like this when he's biking. So yeah, I made him a little bit wider, and hopefully that gives him extra room for biking. And otherwise he will probably just shift it a tiny bit, just like he does now, and he will wear it like this. And I don't mind, I will just knit and probably see if I can find a colorwork pattern that has a gusset and make that. He wants a brown thumb. And now I'm going to get to the yarn. Oh yeah, and I cast on in 64 stitches on a 2.5mm needle, and all the color work is done on a 3mm needle. The yarn attached to the second cuff already. This is Coffee Deer by me, a new colorway. I'm going to dye more of because I love it. And it is on my soft sock base, and I'm combining that with my Undercover Otter Clan of Igor's January. It is the Fritz colorway, and I love it. I also love how it knits up. Here you can see Fritz. I don't know if they are gonna make it a regular colorway, but yeah, I really like it and I hope they do. Husband loves it as well, so that's fine by me. I like it when my husband loves the things I knit. He also loves his hat, so nice and warm. I hope I have a little bit more time to make these mittens, so yeah, let the cold stay away for a teeny tiny bit. Then another cast on from the cast ons. This is my Christmas Eve cast on in my Paisley Ducky Space Cats bag. My absolutely amazing friend Anna. She makes so pretty bags and I love this one. I have not done much. It is my, let me grab the pattern first. On the right side. It is the Adventuresome Wrap by Amba O'Brien. You can see. I've seen quite a few now and I love them all. I'm very eager to knit on this, but I'm also very eager to knit on other things. And I will show you the next one so soon. I am using this one, and I actually forgot how I called it. It is a wine red purplish colorway that I dyed myself in soft sock, and I'm using all kinds of soft sock and squirm sock leftovers and mini skeins. Let me ball this up before it ends up somewhere it doesn't. This is the progress I made. I started with the gray because I just dislike knitting with gray. I think it's boring. It's like if I get it over with, the rest will be better. And look, the rest is better because now I have no rainbows without rain in here. I absolutely love that. Then I think it's this baggie that's next because it's all balled up. These colorways go in. Leftovers from my hoodie shawl cardigan. Leftovers from socks. Mini skein from the cocktail collection and this one too. And I have sorted all per 5 or 6 in these bags. So I have it all sorted. I made a whole ring of the colors and I made a photo of that and I can just match it up with that. The needle size is, let me see, a 3.75 millimeters, so it is not super tight. It's really nice and soft and probably will stretch a lot, so it's a very nice shawl in the end. I'm looking forward to working on this because it's really one that sucks you in, and that's how I like my projects. Because yeah, I'm not a project knitter. I'm a process knitter. I like to be sucked into the project and just not put it away and knit on it until I'm finished. Yeah, with the 12 cast-ons that was pretty difficult, and that is also why I quit them. It was just too much. I had some projects that I really wanted to knit on, and I also wanted to get back to my whips, and this whip has been on my lap for quite a bit the last few days, and it has grown quite substantially as well. Here I have my, I don't have the pattern here with me, but this is my Marled Mania cardigan from West Knits, and yeah, it is too big to show it to you all at once, so here you go. This is where I'm at, and I think this is about what I've done. Doesn't look like much, but it is really heavy, and it is a 5mm needle, which is not my favorite. But because it's so heavy and you have to keep turning it and turning it, my shoulders hurt a lot. It is done with 2 strands of fingering yarn. So yeah, it's a bit much. And I have to limit my time that I knit on it. So here we have the ribbing, armhole, and then all the way down. And I'm not sure if you can see, but there's not that many stitches left between these 2 markers. And if I get to 2 stitches between the markers, I am ready for the ribbing, which will be very, very soon, because it's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 stitches. So that means that I have, let me see, I'm on an odd row now, so that means 2, 4, 5. I have to do 5 more rows in these 2 colors. A blind date from Countess Ablaze, and I'm not sure if this, I think this is Wild Honey from Ushitita. I'm not sure. It's all in my project page. I mean, this thing eats this much yarn. It uses about 1100 grams of yarn. So, excuse me for not remembering them all. I think I get very far, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. So yeah, these 2 for 5 more rows. Then I get this one. Oh, alarm. It was the monthly siren testing. Hooray. So I cut that out for you because that's just loud and rude. Next up will be this one for 10 rows, so 15 rows to go, and then the ribbing starts. There is a way to make it even longer, but I don't want to because then I might not have enough yarn of a few colorways. Dropped it. Like this one is getting very thin. I do have a second one, but I also use it 2 times, so it's gonna be tricky. I have done some calculations already for the sleeves. I am doing 10 rows, so 5, I think that's 5 garter ridges of each combined colorway, and then I fade one out and the next one in, so every 10 rows, yeah, I do 10 rows with each color. Hey Banks, hi, did it wake you up with the siren? Yeah. So yeah, 10 rows with every color, and every 20 rows with every color, and every 5 every 10 I fade one out. I fade one in, and I interchange it with speckled and semi-solid. there's a system. And it is a correct system. And for the sleeves, I want to do the same. Like start with this orangey bit and then fade into the more green yellow bit and then go back to the orangey bit. That's how the system works. But I have to do calculations on how many rows the sleeve's gonna be. So I have to measure my gauge. I have to check out the pattern with how many rows do you decrease and calculate how many rows I need. It's difficult. I wasn't up to it, but I think I have figured it out that it's about every 2 rows or every 2 rows I have to change. So I'll see if that's correct, because it doesn't feel correct. It might be 4 rows, I'm not sure. But I'd be very happy if I can manage to finish this body this month. That's my goal. The ribbing is pretty long as well. And even though I don't want it to go all the way to my knees, because that's the longer version, then you also decrease in this bit, I think. I haven't read that far because I was like, nope, I have my color sequence, I have to start the ribbing here. I didn't read far enough apparently when I started the project. But yeah, I am looking forward to starting that ribbing and get this one done. It is huge, it is heavy, but it's also so gorgeous. I know it is not matching up with my size inclusivity goals for this year, but since I was already so far along on this, and it is very roomy. I mean, I'm a size 50-ish, 48 to 50, and this is for 48 to 52, but I probably might have gotten away with a size smaller. I think that if you knit the size bigger, then you could easily make it fit to 60. So it also officially it only goes to 56. So it's not super non-inclusive, but my goal is to only knit to a size with a minimum size of 60 inch. So yeah, this one is not really in that, but I think it will work for everyone. Then again, I'm not sure if you want to invest that much yarn. My stash was big enough for it, but 1.5 kilos of yarn is a lot. I don't even have a project bag where I can shove it in, so I have it in this Ziploc bag to keep it away from a cat that loves to eat yarn ends. Yeah, here's the guilty party. So that is it for knitting. And then I have a few acquisitions from the last month. Let me find it. I, of course, have a Clan of Igors from December, and it is the night before Christmas. And this colorway is called Sally. I'm gonna say spoilers, of course, because I'm gonna show the colorway now. But I think everyone has it, because I've already shown the whole 12 months on Instagram and nobody said, oh damn, you spoiled it for me. So here is Sally. And Sally is based on Jack's love, and in Petra's opinion, one of the most beautiful characters in the movie. Sally is an optimistic and loving character in the midst of all the creepy crawlies that inhabit Halloween Town. The colors in this month's skein remind Petra of her iconic dress in teal, yellow and dirty pink. And they used a tie-dye technique to give part of the skein a bit of a Jackish vibe. Along with the skein of Sally, there was also a cute little Jack stitch marker. Really, really cute. So yeah, that was Undercover Otter, a year long of Clan of Igors. And I did sign up for the new year again, so I'm waiting impatiently on the January one. Then I also really wanted to get the book Strange Brew and Road Trip from Tin Can Knits, because I wanted to knit the Cleoquat cardigan, and I needed the Road Trip book for that. I could have gotten one pattern on Ravelry, but I really like Tin Can Knits patterns, and I also like their books, so I thought just get the whole book and then you have all the patterns, and you also get the download code for that. So yeah, here is Road Trip. I had been looking for a store that would sell Road Trip and Strange Brew, but it was difficult to find, but then I finally found it thanks to a friend. And yeah, let me see if I can find Cleoquat. There it is. Without any pattern info. Yeah, there it is. Look. Really pretty. And finally found a store that also sold Strange Brew, and the hat I knit Robert, the Mountain Mist hat, is from this book. So I actually used a book right away. I'm so proud of myself. I saw this book from someone in Cardiff, and it was gorgeous, and I was like, I wanted the physical book because it's just so nice to look at. And I'm really happy I got them. I got them from Wild and Woolly in the UK, in London. But that was not the only thing I got, because when you're ordering books, you can also order yarn, right? And they had a sale going with some older, I think they are older colorways from West Yorkshire Spinners. So I got these 3 colorways that I did not own yet. This is Cayenne Red, this is Nutmeg, and this is Cardamom. And I was going to use this for my Christmas Eve cast on with a West Yorkshire Spinner Christmas colorway, the Robin colorway for this year. But I forgot that, so this one never got used. So yeah, I've got these 3 gorgeous looking for heels, cuffs and toes, and everything else that I need with my other colorways of West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. And that's actually everything I got. So I was a pretty good girl. I have to say, there is something on the way. If you followed me on Vlogmas, you know there's a big black hole in my house, and I lost my spinning wheel oil. So I ordered some, but the shop was actually closed from that day for a vacation over Christmas and New Year's, but whatever, it's on its way now, I hope. And in the meantime, I also found my spinning wheel oil back, but never mind. It's fine. I think 2 of those little bottles won't hurt me. I can put one in my bag, and I can put one in a drawer, so I always have some handy, even if I take my wheel out somewhere. And I also ordered some fluff with that, but I will show you that when it arrives, of course. I don't have much else in store for acquisitions, so I'm not sure how full my acquisitions part will be for the next months. I tried to stash down a little. I have put all my stash in Ravelry. Crazy. But it was necessary, because now I have a good overview of what I have. And it's super nice when you're on the road or somewhere and you think, oh, I want to browse Ravelry, there's a new pattern, I like that. You click through and it immediately says, oh, but you have that yarn. it's really handy. You can just browse your stash and see what you have and don't have to look in all the mess that is my stash. Well, it's not a mess, but it's all in boxes and it's all over the house. So yeah, I'm very happy I put it all in there. And now to see that I get it down. I have no goals on how much down, but if I keep knitting sweaters and stuff, it will go down for sure, because I have these sweater quantities ready to go. Since we are also nearing the 100th episode of the Colourful Creativity podcast, and it might actually be around my birthday as well, I was wondering if you have any nice ideas to celebrate with me. Should we do a knit along in February, or what? Tell me, what do you want to do? A Q&A episode? Let me know. I am a bit out of ideas for it. As I've already done celebratory giveaways and such, I was like, let's come up with something special. But what? I need your input for this. What do you want? I mean, you're the viewers. I can do what I want every episode, but let me do something that you want for this one. So, the 100th episode will be somewhere in February, I think. And yeah, I know I have something lined up for the end of February to celebrate my birthday. But that's still a little secret. I am also looking forward to this Saturday, because there is a German blogger, Jetzt kocht sie, or Jetzt kocht sie auch noch. And that's Jane, and she's coming here to dye some yarn with me and to make some beads with me. So that's gonna be fun. I am really looking forward to that. I hope there will be some live Instagram possible. It depends on the Wi-Fi connectivity in the attic. It's not always perfect. We've noticed that from Robert's live streaming his 3D printing. He actually has a channel now on YouTube. So for those interested, I will put in a link in the show notes. There's only one video on there at the moment, and it is the printing of a bobbin part. So he's printing that for me. Yeah, he printed a lot for me, but that's what I'm going to say for the spinning podcast. I'm going to try to do a spinning podcast and then a knitting podcast. So we have a podcast every week, and they will get a little bit smaller. This was a big catch up from 3 weeks of lots of things. So I hope next episode will be a bit smaller again. Of course, if there's no acquisitions, that part also falls away. And I just chatter about what I'm working on. It might be just short episodes from now on out. But yeah, we'll see what happens for 2020. Do you have goals as far as what you want to knit? Did you make a make 9? I know I did, and I've already got one on the needles, and hopefully soon a lot more on the needles of them. But I first want to finish stuff. I think that's my goal for this year. Finish more things. Not per se finish more items than last year, but not leave that many whips and just have more things finished. So yeah, maybe I could do something like I can cast on for 2 cast offs or for 2 finishes, something like that. But I don't like to make those rules for myself, because I always struggle with rules and I go like, no, hell no. So maybe you know that feeling, just like the limitations of not buying anything or dieting, not eating stuff, makes me just want to go eat all the things and buy all the things. So I'm very bad with those limitations. And I know I'm not the only one, because, I mean, hell, why don't diets work? they restrict, and I am way more a fan of mindful eating and just eat everything you want and feel what you're craving and do it mindfully. So yeah, I know there's another word for it, but I just can't find it. Because if I, like with chocolate, you can't eat chocolate, then I'm thinking about chocolate all day long and I want to eat it every day. If you know me, chocolate is not the thing I go for usually. So I can have chocolate going past the date. I actually have plenty of chocolate going past the date. And then once in a while I do eat it, or I just give it away. And yeah, no problem at all. But if you tell me I can't have chocolate, all that chocolate is gone very, very quickly. And the same goes with do not buy yarn. Then I want to buy all the yarn. So for now, I'm just appreciating my own stash and seeing what happens for this year. I mean, it's only January 6th. There's a whole year of pretty yarn coming to us. And I know as an indie dyer, I'm going to make pretty yarn as well. So you never know. I'm not going to pin myself down for a whole year. So yeah. With that, I'm gonna say goodbye because I'm ranting and rambling, and yeah, this episode's long enough. See you back next time. Bye bye.